Here we go with FSD 14.2.2.4, heading to the Apple Store in Cybertruck. I'm going to pick up the Mac Mini. Want to try that a little experimentation on the weekends. So I'm going to be installing the OpenClaw. Is that what it's called now? CloudBot, MoteBot, and whatever it's called now. Yeah. So meanwhile, checking out FSD 14.2.2.4. Gonna see if I can spot anything worth mentioning that was different from the previous versions. Coming off of 14.2.2.3. So these highly incremental, releases are still flowing in, and there's no changes to release notes, so can't really definitively say what would be changed in these. So it's just by observation, trying to put my truck onto the familiar routes that I have put all previous versions on. So I have just my mental database, and also on video how they perform on these predictable, like daily driving kind of routes for myself. Yeah, so far nothing that stands out, and mostly I'm going to focus again on the speed profiles. I think that's the more that's an area that has come up on debate quite a lot as people talk about it on X. Everybody have their own opinions on it, because the speed profiles are kind of like notorious for having brought about some polarizing opinions from many of the FSD stalwarts on X. And so all the way from like, hey, I don't want this thing, give me the ability to set my own offset and max speed limit and stuff. And the others are like, yeah, all the other different directions. Okay, so right now I'm in standard profile, speed profile, and let's see if I can demonstrate. Like if I go to Mad Max, just like right now, you're gonna notice like nothing is gonna happen different. That's gonna be discernibly different from when it was in standard, and that's simply because it has that context. It's about to take the exit. So my point with this little demo was that if somebody is driving on, if checking out FSD and they hear about Mad Max mode and the hurry mode and these profiles, and they just because of the name and some of what they insinuate freaks you out, don't be afraid to try them. Like especially when you're in the middle of traffic, they're not going to do something spooky. I've not had that happen to me, even in Mad Max. Like you can see it right here, perfect. Like it's in Mad Max mode, and it's taking this turn in a safe way, 60 miles an hour. This constant circular curvature that it has to negotiate on the road. So that's a lot of force that's applied to the lateral body, I guess, lateral force applied to it. So it's like make sure that safety first. It doesn't matter what the profile says. So it's not like if you're gonna flick it into Mad Max and it's just gonna fly off the shelf. No, it won't happen like that. If you put it on an airstrip and do it like there, maybe yes, it might do it, because it's like, hey, there's nothing obstructing. It's all Yahoo kind of a situation. It's like I can do whatever I want. Then maybe it is gonna go kind of Mad Max crazy. I don't know, but that's not how it works on the city streets or even on the highways. So yeah, so much context it takes into consideration. The AI piece, like it's crazy, and it's I think ever growing. So yeah, there's that. So let me see. I want to see on this route demonstrate a few more changes. First of all, it doesn't need to no. See this? Okay, this is a good example. Route optimization, or I don't know what you want to classify this as. 3 lanes are turning right. All these 3 lanes are turning right. The rightmost lane where the truck is at right now, this lane is predominantly for people who are looking to go into Costco, which I am not. So the truck, I wanted to eventually have that next level of reasoning, and that where it can be smart enough to say, all right, I know this is the traffic that's going to Costco. Get used to that pattern. And so that now what I'm taking over a little for a second, and I'm going to move it into the middle lane. which you will see is the lane where we'll need to be at, because the truck will actually have to scoot over because the lane to going to Costco, I think it ends, completely ends. Even if it doesn't, this is the lane you need to be in order for you to go to town center to get to the Apple store, or else you're going to be stuck at this light for at least 2 iterations more. So I re-engage FSD after taking over. So there's an improvement opportunity there. That's something Tesla AI, if anybody does watch, and that'll be great. You guys can take some, I mean, you guys may already know, but there's another, data point for you to kind of take into consideration and bubble up the prioritization of this factor, this feature. Some of the things are like so taken for granted right now, especially after the 14 branch dropped. I mean, the truck is just like, it drives like really at par as far as its urgency and its alertness and quickness to goes by. It's like alert as hell, even in like a lower like a profile, especially in Mad Max and City. It's just really really alert and make sure that it's constantly stays in a way that it's not trying to. It's like most efficient with time. It's like efficiency is what it prioritizes. So it's like don't even get to comment on some of the other nuances that FSDs does. It's been doing so phenomenally great. It's because I guess we're getting to that part, unsupervised FSD is here, and it's just a matter of maybe 1 or 2 more big iterations. Maybe 15 is going to be the last one where there'll be something left to test for the testers like freelance testers like myself and the OGs like Chuck and all. I don't know. I mean, Chuck has mentioned, he's talked about this, he understands that we're going to be obsolete at some point in being the source of providing feedback to the mothership on when these releases go public. So, yeah, that's cool though. All right, so heading to the Apple Store. So far, I did not notice anything that I can say that was different than the previous release. And speed profile, I have another use case, another scenario that I can really test that I would like to test it in. I'm not sure if I'll get the time to do it tonight. And that's when I'm heading over to Planet Fitness. So that's where I've posted 2 or 3 iterations of back-to-back videos. So you have a complete, comparative database, a comparative like data set of what those, at least 3 different releases I've posted. So that way that's both, maybe the closest I can get to as objective of a testing that I could do to talk about the different differentiators between the releases, especially given that there's so much of how the profiles work that nobody knows. So it's pure conjecture at points, but it's again based upon observation. So you take what you want to take out of it, what you see. You don't have to absolutely to go by what I'm saying. I'm just giving my observations, and that's it. All right, so it's about to park. Oh, that, you know what? There's an Omega, that you see that Omega store that used to be the Tesla store for the longest time when they first came to Jacksonville, and that used to be the Tesla sales center, you could say it. And service was off of Phillips Highway, and now this has turned into an Omega store. That's cool, like a little nostalgic of this location being used to come here so eagerly, like waiting in line outside just to give people rides if they were waiting to get speed test rides and stuff, and there was a long wait. It used to be fun. I miss those days of pure enthusiasm that we all had for Tesla. that we used to go out and do stuff, you know. I mean, they're still there. We're doing it. We're still keeping it alive. I know, but again, that was an era. So many of us showed up at showrooms and, you know, sales center offering to volunteer to help with the Model 3 delivery. You know, that was so badass. Yeah, so I manually parked in here. So, and this is a good example that why I took over. It was instinctive because I find the automatic parking is slower than the way I can park. It's slower. And then when it parks, it actually does a slightly worse job than I can do. So I park this. I take this action myself. This is an area that I would love to see it improved in future iterations, which I'm very sure that's going to happen over time. So that was 14.224. Did not notice anything that I could talk about different in this release. Again, that just as a recap, it was the one scenario where, again, that's the route optimization. It's I don't know if it's the same category where sometimes it takes these convoluted, you know, back of the strip mall kind of routes instead of picking the straightforward ones and which are shorter and safer and all those things. And this one where it was, in order to go to its destination, it had option to put itself in, you know, hold itself in 3 lanes. All 3 were turning right, and it chose a rightmost lane, which had the longest tail to it, and that one, like by a huge margin, and because that lane was going into Target, and so ideally the truck should have the awareness that it should pick this middle lane based upon where it knew it was going, knowing that it should know eventually over time that the rightmost lane is the one that's going into Costco. That context should not be that difficult for it to learn, which I'm sure it's going to come with time. So that was 14.224, initial impressions. Thank you for watching.